What's up, lifelong learners? This is your boy, Mr. Heng, and today we're going to be learning about cinematography, but specifically, there are 4 features that are not my own, but I think I could credit this to Ben Long because I learned it from him. And I also want to acknowledge that Fine, thank you so much for sending me out this mic right here for review. And I want to thank Aperture for sending me this light that's lighting me right now. And I want to also thank Rode for sending me out this microphone, Rode Wireless Go, for review, and now I've been using it ever since. So I just wanted to credit everybody, and let's get into the lesson. Since 2006, I've been teaching high school kids how to transform their lives through education. So consider subscribing and join the mission to make the hood all good. Okay, so this is day 1 of learning about cinematography, and we're going to focus on composition. What makes good composition? Well, let's see. We have to have 4 things, not subject, foreground, background. There's only 3, but 4 things is you have to have subject, foreground, and background. And when you have subject, foreground, and background, you can complete an image. So the subject is my wife and I. The foreground is defined by the distance or the space that is in between the camera all the way to the subject. So the fireplace, the bench, this rug, and this vehicle right here is considered to be the foreground because it's from the camera all the way up to the subject. That space that is occupied here is called the foreground. And then obviously the subject is us. And then the background is defined by whatever is behind the subject, which is like the trees, the dark tree line right here, and the moon. Moving on to the next thing is balance. That's the second thing that makes up good composition. So if you look at this, this is formal balance. There's also informal balance, which we'll get into later. But right now I want to focus on balance as being a simple geometry word is symmetry. So if you're looking at this, it's not perfect symmetry, but you can see these 3 poles are balancing these 3 poles. The subject is right in the middle. So if you split this in half, these 3 poles balance these 3 poles. And notice the distance from here to here and the distance from here to here is also the same. And notice how the distance from the pole to the people and the light pole to the people are the same. It's not perfect because this light is lit up and this light's not. But you can see that the poles are holding the symmetry. And also right here, if you split down this line right here, it's not perfect symmetry again, but you can see the left side and the right side are nearly the same. So this is called formal balance when we're talking about composition. And then there's informal balance, which is balancing like light and dark and shadows and stuff like that, but we'll get to that another day. So focus on formal balance. So we have to have subject, foreground, background. The second thing is to have some sense of balance. And the third thing is point of view, whether you're shooting from a high point of view, which generally demonstrates dominance or some kind of superiority. Of course, in this image, it's not. I just wanted to give you an interesting angle to look from the top down to this Grand Canyon right here. And then there's eye level, which is pretty much an even, there's no struggle of power. There's just you and the person. And then there is the low camera angle, which generally demonstrates like a sense of inferiority to the person who's looking down. So if you're looking from the bottom and upward towards something, it generally gives a sense of inferiority. Point of view is basically what camera angle do you choose to shoot from to convey a certain meaning behind your image and not just, I just decided to do that. So you choose your camera angle based on what you think looks good and at the same time conveying some media language in terms of dominant and strength versus inferiority and lack of strength. And then we're going to move on to the next thing, which is simplicity. Simplicity just means clean. Look, if you look at this image, it's very clean, very organized. And if you look at this image right here, it's also very organized. Notice how the lines are horizontal, vertical lines are vertical, and so on and so forth. And this right here is also pretty simple to understand, except I threw in another compositional tool here, which is called breaking the pattern. But you're not learning about that. You're just understanding that this is considered to be a simplistic view of this image. So simplicity, keeping things clean and organized in your photos. Now, when you can combine all four of these, when you can combine subject, foreground, background with balance, with a point of view, and it's simple and clean, this image takes the cake for all four. If you notice, you have the foreground here, you have the subject, and then you have whatever is behind me and my wife as our background. So that checks off one box. The next thing is to look at balance. So if you split this down the middle, you can see that this and that is roughly the same distance. And notice how the lines are split evenly as well. This and that, if you split it down the middle, it's the same distance from the middle, and it's the same distance from the edge of the frame here. And you have this thing called point of view, as I'm shooting from a lower angle, and I intentionally did this to shoot this for the gram. You know, you gotta do it for the gram every now and then, right? So I chose to shoot this and then post it so people would actually go, oh, that's really cute. And this is just everyday simple life for us. And I left this in there for a reason, to let you know exactly where we're going. So this image tells a complete story, and it is very clean. It is not like the one on the left over here, which is very cluttery. This is a nice snapshot for my family who visited from Taiwan, but this one right here takes the cake for checking off, again, subject, foreground, background, has formal balance, and it has a point of view, and then it's very simple and clean. So that's it. Those are the four compositional features that you should have in every image or in every shot to make it seem very pretty and organized, and it's aesthetically pleasing when you're watching the scene. All right, well, that's the end of the lesson, and you guys know how we say goodbye, but before I do that, don't forget to, that guy, yeah. Make sure you do what that guy's telling you to do, all right? And if you learned something new, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, okay? Not like this, but thumbs up like that. And then don't forget to share this if this helped you and it can help somebody else improve their composition. Again, this is not my thing that I look for in composition. It's something I learned from Ben Long, and I want to credit him for that. All right, well, now we'll be able to say goodbye. Get your hands ready. Rock, paper, peace. Let's hang out again in the next video.